So, transitioning into speaking to Andrea, I really wanted to open up some thoughts about your future career and your future dreams, and talk about something that we spoke a little bit briefly about the other day when I was talking to you and your boyfriend, and your concept of being a network, right? So, how have you been pushing to make that reality every day?
Well, it really, so the ultimate goal has always been to be a social worker, and being a social worker for me encompasses not only getting a degree and being able to practice, but it encompasses the fact that I want to have that information for everyone. I want to be what you guys called, I believe, a nexus, right?
Mhm. Yes.
I want to be kind of like in a spider web, and I am the middle, and no matter where people are coming from, I can push them towards another direction, and I
Hmm.
can help them move along.
Hmm.
Because I'm assuming, like, at least for me personally, it's always been really hard to move along when you don't have the resources that you need. So I
Uh-huh.
want to be that person that can give you the resources and like help you, just give you that little push that you need, because everyone has that potential. They just
Uh-huh.
need that little help.
Right.
So the overall goal it is to be a social worker, but I cannot really be the social worker that I want to be without encompassing being the nexus.
Mm.
So in being the nexus, what I've already done is I've been working with a lot of different organizations such as Young Voices, Planned Parenthood. I've been involved with Youth Pride and obviously with the public community libraries.
Hmm.
What they do is they do the exact same work that I want to do, but in different aspects and in different levels.
Hmm.
They all become kind of networks for each other, and they become these, like I said, spider webs that everyone kind of connects to. So no matter where
Uh-huh.
I go, I could go to Youth Pride and I could go to another place, and they could take me somewhere completely different that can actually provide me with the help I need.
Hmm.
So every day I've been working with them. I am in constant contact with Providence Community Libraries. Right now, we're
Hmm.
working on a project on helping others by creating masks
Hmm.
with our sewing machines. We're going to create the mask and we're going to donate them to hospitals because they're lacking resources due to obviously people buying for themselves due to coronavirus.
Yep.
I am also working with them to provide care packages for people,
Uh-huh.
since we know that this time in which people are like really bored at home, they don't have the resources that they normally would have. So we're providing care packages that are personalized. All of the students that I had in my class are getting their own as long as they're
Uh-huh.
comfortable with it. And a librarian would like literally put books that they know you'll like. Like,
Hmm.
what are your recommendations? You like horror stories? So we're gonna put some of the best horror stories. You like movies? We
Uh-huh.
have movies, games, etc. And they're bringing that to people's houses to provide a sense of relief and a sense of community, that not everything is over and done with, and that
Uh-huh.
not all we have to do is stay in front of a computer for 20 hours at a time.
Yes. And a lot of people have been feeling that way. Like they are sort of required to like be at their computer all the time now, using things like Facebook, using things like Discord to get the community that they lack. Do you have you thought of any ways that you can get people, aside from reading books, to be interacting with at least those in their small little communities?
So something that obviously not everyone has are instruments. Instruments are a very helpful way, but since there is that lack of resources, there are other ways in which people can contribute to their own, like I'm gonna say, mental health entertainment side,
Mm-hmm.
in which they can literally just. There's so many things that someone can do that the libraries can provide you, like not only books. For
Mm-hmm.
example, some of my students are getting henna
Mm-hmm.
because it's an art form. We have it. I teach it. So I've been like, hey, like we have all of this henna that we can't use for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Provide it to some of my students and they can do art on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And they can personalize whatever they want. We have coloring books. We have different types of arts and paints. And some of the packages also come with activities or
Mm-hmm.
like board games, which are like something that people I don't think do anymore.
Uh-huh.
But it's something that
It seems like
it
a
does
decent amount of
bring the
people still.
community. You think so?
Yeah, especially in like grad student communities and up.
I didn't know that. In high school, we don't really have board games. We play Uno and we play Cards Against Humanity. That's almost about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's that sense of, being a family. However, obviously, there's a lot of situations in which you cannot be with a family due to different problems. And in those scenarios, that's why we bring the henna out, we bring the coloring pages out, we bring like the books and the movies.
And do you feel like, what do you feel like is necessary? Because it seems like this coronavirus like situation is going to be the case for probably a month, maybe 2 months or more. What do you think people need to be doing in order to keep themselves from going crazy during that time?
So that is something that is really hard to really say because everyone needs different things.
Yes.
I've noticed that a lot of my introverted friends are actually having a really great time and they're actually really happy at home. And they're really just fine. And they're like, I needed this. I needed to stay away from y'all. Like, I don't like you.
Absolutely.
Other people, like me, very much need friends. They need a lot of people. And obviously, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to reach for our computers because we can reach other people. There's Netflix Party now. There's all of these like new things in which you can watch movies with people. So that brings a little bit of sense of a community in a way. But at the same time, being stuck inside a house without the sun, without air, like fresh air, I mean, that can, like, literally one of the punishments in prison is isolation. Because as humans, we need that. We need human contact, human interaction, or even animal interaction. Like, there's a lot of therapist animals, obviously. The main thing that people need to do is they need to keep their head on the game. And that sounds really bad because, like, no one chose this, obviously. No one chose to get this. A lot of people are getting really screwed when it comes to this. Not only people who are getting infected, but people who are missing their proms, they're missing their, graduations. They're going to probably be canceled. Tests are being changed. Like, our future is just changing out of nowhere. But it's so important to keep your head in the game and keep knowing that once this is over, things will go back to normal. Things will change, obviously. Like, things are always going to change, but that sense of normality will come back. Just how we came back from, like, the plague, just how we came back from, like, the Spanish flu, etc. Like, obviously things are going to change, but there will be a path that we can follow. And I feel like sometimes it seems like there's no stop to what's happening. So one of the first things is get into the mentality that you're going to keep going because there's so much more that's going to happen. And not negative, but there's so much more that will happen in the future that this is a pause. It's going to be a pause. It's like a big bumpy road.
Absolutely.
And this is where the car breaks and you're like, I don't know what to do anymore. The car's going to break and you're going to have to wait for help. And you're going to have to wait for people to come in and fix your car or for you to learn how to fix the car. There's going to be a lot of waiting. And during those moments, the most important thing to know is that we're all here. Like, we're all in this same situation, obviously varying degrees and varying, people who are in better conditions, then obviously they're not having as hard of a time. But all of us are in some way isolated. And even when we're with family, it's the same people over and over. Like, you miss others, you miss your friends, you miss just seeing people walking around the street freely. Not people scared. So that's one. The mentality has to change. The other thing would be to go out. And not go out to parties, and not go out to the beach, and not go out to bars and clubs with friends. To just go out by yourself and walk. And that sounds really kind of crappy, to be honest. But for example, I didn't know it was snowing today. There's no windows right here in my house. There's some windows in there, but they're really high up and I'm really short.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know.
That freaked me out when it happened.
And it's like, what am I gonna do? Like, I didn't know it was snowing. How? We're not looking at anything. We're not seeing anything.
Your voice went quiet.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
So it's really important to go outside because we need the sun, we need the air, we need to be able to breathe.
Mhm.
And we feel locked up. We're in bed all the time.
Uh-huh.
We're just stuck. And we're not actually stuck. We can still go out. We just can't be with people, which still feels like being stuck. But
yeah,
we're not as trapped as we feel like we are. And some people definitely are. Some people's parents are like, you're not even touching like a foot outside of this house. But if you have that freedom, if you can literally just go outside for 5 minutes, go for a 5-minute walk, just breathe the air and just calm down and remember to, you know, stay away from people, that can bring you a sense of peace. Because there's not a lot of people outside either. But at least you know that your body's gonna thank you for it. Like the nice air, the clean air, well, cleanish. The fact that you're walking, you're stretching. Like to go outside, you have to put your clothes off. You're gonna probably shower. I noticed that a lot of people are not showering because, you know, you're at home, you're bored. Like, I'm not gonna be like, ew, that's gross. Cause like I haven't been showering as much as I normally do because I'm not going anywhere. But your body will thank you.
This is a time of depression.
It is. And it's really hard to get out of bed. Even when you're not sleeping, like it's just hard to get out of bed, to move. We don't have to get out of bed to even go to school. It's insane. So we need to. Like, we need to get up. And do you want to play Wii U? Then play Wii U. Do you want to like go outside? Go outside. Do something energetic with your body so you have a reason to shower. So you have a reason to get up. So you get hungry. So you eat. And not just junk food. Because I feel like everyone's eating junk food too, which I am too. But knowing that your body's like craving a meal, that is new. Your body's craving a lot of water because you just exercised. Your mind is gonna mess with your body a lot. There's a big connection when it comes to mind health and body health. Always. There's always been a connection. And when your mind is in this bad state, your body's gonna go really badly. And same with your body. When your body's in a bad state, your mind gets bad. They're connected. And right now, all of us are either depressed, lonely, we're feeling weird, we're feeling strange, we're feeling confused, and we're at home. It's not like we're feeling confused with friends. It's not like we're feeling confused and we can go to the mall and forget about it. We're stuck. But to leave that space, you need to do something for your body to be able to breathe and do more.
You know, you have an incredibly like maternal presence.
I have been called the mom of the group.
You have a lot of loving like thoughts, and it seems like you're spending most of your time working to provide people with a sense of security and support.
I can personally attest to that. We call her mom all the time.
Do you like, what do you think, like, you've seen our resources, right? You've seen like our different abilities and the people who are involved with what we're doing. What do you, I'm asking you as a leader, what do you think that we can do as a community to help people? Because we have a lot of resources, we have a lot of intelligent people, and we have many different projects we could be working on. We just need the right mission and the right attitude. What do you think we should be doing?
I don't think you're gonna like my answer too much, but you gotta understand you're already doing it. It's really hard for me to be like, don't do anything, because like what you're doing is already helping. Like what you're doing is already motivating people. Like I finished some of my work. I was gonna, like take a break. And by taking a break, I really meant, going on Facebook and scrolling for a long time and seeing how coronavirus kills people and this kills people and everything kills people and everyone's dying. And that's all we see. I was going to do that. And I'm the first one that is like, people, please don't do that. But I was going to do it. But I didn't. Because I was like, oh, I have to do a live stream, don't I? And I was like, oh, I really want to do that. And I had to come. I just had to, because it was what my body told me that I should do. And by being here, I'm not stuck in that loop of, I'm thinking about bad things. I'm thinking about bad things. And someone might just be like hearing us and they're like, oh, I relate. Like, there's a lot of people who will see the work that we're doing and will feel better. The fact that I was like, guys, you know what? I'm making masks for the hospitals. And people are like, you can do that? Like, the fact that you're giving information out, the fact that you're here willingly, like, putting up a live stream to talk to others, to communicate with others. The fact that you're like openly being like, what else can I do? It's already work. Like, it's already a lot. And I'm not, listen, if you had $1 million, I would tell you, buy some food and give it away.
I have a couple quarters.
I don't think that'll count. But with the person you are, with the resources you have, what you're doing is more than almost anyone is. Like, anyone that has the same resources that you do, We all have different resources, and I think you're using yours the perfect way. I think the way you're providing information is clear and responsible. I feel like you're providing information to as many people as possible. I feel like you connecting with people like me or others is helping, because we just pop whatever information you give us and we pop it out to other people. I think that's doing a lot. I wouldn't really know what to tell you to do more. I really wouldn't.
Well, I'm thinking more on the terms of, like, before I met you, I know you were on a path and you were already moving towards, like, your goals.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm wondering how we can partner with the public libraries, how we can connect with these other, like, groups that have also decided to move online, so that we can be providing a soapbox and a place for them to release their messages.
So that's one of the issues. They haven't had a place online. The things that I'm doing with the library, right? Like making the care packages and stuff.
Yeah.
That's something that I know because I work there. Most people don't know about this. Because although, like, obviously people will promote it, we can provide it to everyone. So they're saying, you know what, people who have been in the library, people who are usually in the library, they should get these because they deserve them. So I took all of my students that have been there for a long time and I was like, what do you want? And I'm giving it to them. The thing is, not every library is doing that. Not every library has the resources, and not every library wants to do it. You have to find a specific library, and I found mine. And you can partner with us.
Which one?
Oh, Washington Park Library, all the way.
Okay.
They're the best. You can definitely partner with them, but at the moment, because things are not happening in real life, there's not a lot you can do with them. And Planned Parenthood, they're not moving online. They're a healthcare facility. So a lot of them are closing down. And they have to, like, make specific appointments. People are not getting the resources they need because they can't be open all the time because they're at risk. People are at risk. That's the main issue. If we were not at risk, I would be the first one that would be at work, helping as many people as possible and, like, inviting Norman to speak, inviting you to speak. We could, like, make a trial run of the textbook that you guys are working on, Just that, like, page that you guys wrote that I really liked. we could do a test run of that with
Uh-huh.
the kids, and I'm sure it would work really great.
Uh-huh.
But we can't do that. Not right now. That's the main issue with the place that I work at and that I'm volunteering at. We are focused on human to human. We are not focused on digital stuff because that's not how we work.
Uh-huh.
So during this time, obviously keeping in contact with me and giving me like plans to do in the future, obviously the library is going to want that. They're going to want more people to get involved. They're going to want you in. They're going to want Norman in. They're going to want Alec in. Like, they're going to want like people in. And they want more knowledge. They want more help. They want more people like you. Like, they want leaders.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't have that right now because right now everyone has to stay put.
Right. But being stuck inside like this, the biggest issue, it's not like it's a problem really for someone like you or someone like me, because we are able to stay dedicated and keep moving forward and having purpose, right? I like
some days.
Yeah. And like, so for us to keep our happiness and our like security, we can find ways to do that by creating jobs and creating things for us to do, right? But the majority of people don't have that. And that's the biggest like thing that's going to lead to a large amount of people having depression, is the fact that like so many people right now are just stuck. Like, they aren't able to work, so they just sit at home eating cookies and watching TV all day. And while that sounds really lovely and it sounds wonderful, it's horrible to the human psyche. And so if we can't inspire people to have purpose and meaning during this time in this crisis, like, a lot of people's mental health is going to suffer.
I'm trying to see the things that I found encouraging, I'm going to say. It's because of the resources I have. That's the thing. The reason why I found a lot of things are because I'm well-resourced. Like, I have a sewing machine so I can make masks. That's one of the things, right? The fact that
you're not the only person that has resources like that.
No, I know. I'm talking not only the sewing machine, the fact that I work with librarians and they're the ones who are like, kind of pushing this forward, and not everyone knows about it.
Yeah, they're providing you with like
the knowledge, and some of them are actually providing me with materials.
Right. So, but it's not even the knowledge or the material. The thing that people need is something to do, and the satisfaction of the creation and the finished product or finished event, right? Like having tasks that give them meaning, right? And so, like, if we were to, I really like the idea of your sewing kit thing, because it makes me think if we could use that project that you're working on as a demonstration of what people could be doing.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. There's always a negative side to that. We also don't want people feeling guilty. Which I know sounds kind of weird. So, well, I'm assuming you haven't really experienced this, just because you're such a, just so bright all the time. But I don't know if you've ever experienced being in a room with someone and you have great ideas and you have great things and you're doing your best, right? You're doing like little things at a time, and that's what you're comfortable with, and that's what you like doing, and that's your own path, right? And you know what you need? You need a break here, and you need a break there, and you need water, and you need whatever, right? But then you see someone else next to you and they're doing so much more. And it's just because their capabilities are just greater, okay? Like, not that they're best than you, but better than you, sorry. Not that they're better than you, but that they have different
Circumstances.
circumstances, different skills. Like, maybe you're extremely good at this one thing, but they're extremely good at this other thing that does bigger or does more, right? Like, some people are really good at like ceramics, right? And you
Uh-huh.
can make something out of it, but it takes a long time. Now, I'm really good at sewing. I can sew one of those masks in like 15 minutes.
Uh-huh.
So I can make like 20 masks in the time that it would take someone to make a ceramic piece.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going to be like, oh, that's more helpful, you know? Because
Uh-huh.
you just helped 20 people, but you only helped one.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So at the same time, I don't want to put that pressure on people that you have to do more because we're expecting more of you and you're expecting more of yourself and you should be doing more. While at
Well,
the same time, we should push people to, better themselves and all of that. But at the same time, I don't want to put people in that situation in which they're like, well, that's just not what I do. I
uh-huh.
do different things. Like, not everyone can volunteer at all of these different places, and not everyone has like that energy or that drive. They have
Right.
drives in other things, and I don't want anyone to feel like we're like guilt tripping them or blaming them for deciding to take this time for themselves, you know?
I really see where you're coming from because I feel like sometimes I I feel like I've accidentally done that to people in making them feel like they have to compare themselves to me.
Or
Um,
do more. Yeah, no, I totally understand.
right. But I really wasn't thinking to get people to do things or that they didn't want to do or compare themselves to others. I was more thinking of getting people asking themselves how they can continue doing what they love, even if they're inside.
Yeah, that's way better phrased. I like that.
Maybe I'm gonna write that down just so that I remember it.
I like that a lot.
How can you continue doing what you love, even while stuck inside?
I mean, you don't really need to write it down. We have it on video, like right here.
Right,
Oh,
right.
yeah, it's nice to write it down.
Yeah, it's just nice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I don't wanna search the video for 2 hours of content to try and find this one moment. um, but if we were to tackle things in that sort of a manner, do you feel like we would be able to uh, provide something more constructive for people?
I believe so. Yeah. I think there's one thing that worries me, and this is something that I talked to Norman about when
Uh-huh.
we had our meeting. And it was about the I don't care mentality that people nowadays have. And which is like, yeah, I like doing this, but I don't really care. Like, it's whatever. Like, we have this mentality nowadays in which we see people like you and I, right? Or
Uh-huh.
like any leaders or like TED Talks, right?
Uh-huh.
And we see them as kind of like, okay, so what? Like, okay, so you're very inspirational, you do all of this stuff, good for you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we could do better. We could, like, it's a weird mentality, right?
Uh-huh.
I've had that mentality, so I know where it's coming from. It kind of seems like if someone was a character, right?
Uh-huh.
Kind of seems like a book. It's like, oh yeah, all of these people are doing all of these great things. I'm just a common person. Like, why do I care? Like, yes, I have passions. I'll draw sometimes. I'll paint, but it's not. I'm not driven like that. Like, it's not necessary.
A lot
Some
of
people feel
yeah,
like,
a lot of people feel that way, but we aren't really asking people to. Oh, sorry, are you muted?
I'm not.
Okay. Um, we aren't really asking people to what's it called? Do anything they don't want to do. We're really just trying to help people, well, trying to prevent people from feeling despondent.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. That's what I really want to do. Definitely 100%. And that's the plan. Always. It's always going to be the plan to help others in different ways, and that's one of the ways for sure. I was just thinking that could be one of the issues, because I find myself doing that a lot, being like, oh, what do you think you want to do? Like, what do you think will make you happy in these moments? And they're like, sleep. Like, I want to stay at home and I want to play video games. It's like, do you want to create something on the video games? Like, I'm creating a castle in Minecraft because, why not? And they're like, I just want to play video. Like, I don't understand. Like, I just want to be. It's like, you could be in, ways that you love, and people are just very.
Could I actually maybe send you something that you might find really helpful with that? So with this, with like Tumo slang, we talk a lot about people's ideals, right? So like, rather than going directly into what do you want to do right now, sometimes going more roundabout with things is helpful, in starting with what their original intents were, what the person that they wanted to become is, like what they're like, what kind of track they were already on was before this coronavirus event. And then now that you know what that track was and what they were trying to do, you can then start trying to, rather than create something then and there, just get them back onto that track, onto their own track. And people tend to, that's one of the things that has gotten people so interested in Haven, is the fact that we aren't looking to get you doing anything new, but rather get you to be more powerful on the mission that you are already seeking.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely
send the thing to me, please.
Yeah, I'll
appreciate that.
We can only write so fast, but as we put out stuff, we'll let you see it.
Definitely. That's gonna be really interesting.
Yeah. The if you have, by the way, 15 minutes, I would tell you might enjoy the next section of the live stream we're about to put up.
I was also just about to say that. Yeah, if you want to stick around, you're more than welcome to I ask that you mute your mic, and other than that, you can stick around and watch. I'll screen share here too.
Because this is about being a Nexus. And I think you will find it pretty interesting, and maybe be able to apply it in your daily life. But thank you for for coming on and having this interview session with us. I hope you found it to be constructive.
Of course. I always do. Every time we do something like this, I always love it, and I always feel like better when I come out of it.
I'm glad. I'm
That's
sure.
Good to hear.
Yeah. I hope you weren't feeling despondent yourself. Yes.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Oh. What does that mean, really?
Despondent? It's more like a. So if I spend all day watching TV, lying in my room, and eating crackers, I'm probably gonna feel despondent.
Oh, I'm despondent.
Right. It's that sort. It's like almost lazy, but a laziness mixed with depression, and it sort of forces you to not want to do anything.
Well, if I was feeling that way, I'm not feeling that way anymore.
Yes, that's great.
Nice.